In the ultimate symbol of one Hollywood era ending and another beginning, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, home to James Bond, Thelma and Louise, and Rocky, finally found a buyer willing to pay retail: Amazon. This is just the latest purchase for the behemoth making its mark on entertainment. That's why we're breaking down how Amazon is going to dominate the movie industry. Buying power. The e-commerce giant recently acquired the 97-year-old film and television studio MGM for $8.45 billion, or about 40% more than other prospective buyers, including Apple and Comcast, thought MGM was worth. The studio, which had been shopped around for months, was once home to more stars than the heavens, as Louis B. Mayer liked to brag. But its vast production lot and pre-1986 film library were sold off decades ago. Sony Pictures now occupies the lot, and Warner Brothers owns classic MGM films like Singin' in the Rain, The Wizard of Oz, and Gone with the Wind. Big franchises. Like many studios around Hollywood, Amazon is planning to revamp pre-existing franchises and famous titles. In recent years, this has been the key to grabbing fans' attention. For example, with MGM comes one Hollywood crown jewel: James Bond. The spy franchise, which started in 1962 with Dr. No, will help Amazon compete in the white-hot streaming wars. With Disney Plus coming on strong and HBO Max, Apple TV Plus, and Paramount Plus determined to make inroads. The original disruptors, Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, are leaning harder on movies with broad appeal to keep growing, particularly overseas. But even 007 has an asterisk. Amazon will own only 50% of Bond. The balance is held by Barbara Broccoli and her brother, Michael G. Wilson. The siblings also have ironclad creative control, deciding when to make a new Bond film, who should play the title role, and whether remakes and television spin-offs get made. They have blocked such efforts in the past. Money. One way Amazon is going to dominate in the movie industry is simple: they'll buy it. The company has $71 billion in cash and a market capitalization of $1.64 trillion. Of course, Jeff Bezos, Amazon's founder and chief executive, is known as a conservative buyer. The purchase of Whole Foods for $13.4 billion in 2017 was the biggest acquisition in Amazon's history. Its next largest deals, until MGM, were for Zappos, $1.2 billion in 2009, and the smart doorbell company Ring, $1.2 billion in 2018. The Whole Foods deal was a major strategic change for the company, pushing it into new markets of groceries and physical stores, which it had largely avoided. MGM is more about augmenting a current strategy. Amazon most likely paid more than others thought MGM was worth because of its all-important Prime membership program. Prime membership. If you're Amazon, the perspective is what's the potential for Prime membership? What is the potential for advertising? In addition to paying Amazon $119 a year or $13 a month for free shipping and other perks, notably access to the Prime Video streaming service, households with Prime memberships typically spend $3,000 a year on Amazon. That is more than twice what households without the membership spend, according to Morgan Stanley. About 200 million people pay for Prime memberships. As Prime Video turns 10, over 175 million Prime members have streamed shows and movies in the past year, and streaming hours are up more than 70% year over year. In buying MGM, Amazon is bolstering Prime Video at a time when the biggest old-line studios are becoming less willing to license their libraries to outside streaming services. Warner Brothers, Walt Disney Studios, and Paramount Pictures must now supply corporate siblings like HBO Max, Disney Plus, and Paramount Plus. Bezos. During Amazon's recent annual shareholder meeting on Wednesday, Jeff Bezos said that MGM had a vast, deep catalog of much beloved movies and shows. We can reimagine and redevelop that IP for the 21st century. He said that work would be fun and people who love stories will be the big beneficiaries. Although its library is diminished, MGM still owns 4,000 older movies, including pre-1986 films that come from two MGM divisions, United Artists and Orion. Those movies include Rocky, RoboCop, The Pink Panther, The Silence of the Lambs, and the James Bond catalog. Other titles include Legally Blonde, Moonstruck, Basic Instinct, The Thomas Crown Affair, and Tomb Raider. The future of MGM. MGM didn't have the resources to build and create off the catalog, but Amazon does. And the opportunity to exploit the MGM catalog is incredible. In addition, MGM has several movies in its pipeline that could be Oscar contenders, including Respect, an Aretha Franklin biopic starring Jennifer Hudson, Ridley Scott's House of Gucci, starring Lady Gaga and Adam Driver, and Paul Thomas Anderson's latest project, which stars Bradley Cooper in his first film since A Star is Born. Completion of the deal is subject to regulatory approval. On Wednesday, Representative Ken Buck, Republican of Colorado and a senior member of the House Antitrust Subcommittee, said in a statement that he was deeply concerned by the acquisition and noted Amazon's pandemic-fueled growth spurt. Amazon's revenue for the first quarter of 2021 increased 44% to $108.5 billion, the company's fastest rise in almost 10 years. Amazon's entertainment strategy has evolved as streaming services have proliferated. Indie films like Manchester by the Sea and unconventional series like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Transparent gave Amazon a foothold in Hollywood. Domination will require a steady supply of hits that appeal to wide audiences. Amazon's appetite for movies became ravenous during the pandemic. It paid $125 million for the rights to Coming to America, $80 million for Borat's subsequent movie film, and $200 million for The Tomorrow War, a Chris Pratt adventure that will arrive on Prime on July 2nd. Amazon also has Oscar ambitions, buying the rights to Sound of Metal, which was nominated for Best Picture and other top awards at this year's ceremony and won the Oscars for sound and editing. The problems. Amazon Studios has limited bandwidth, most of which is tied up with television series, including a coming Lord of the Rings adaptation that is believed to be the most expensive show ever made, with a one-season budget of $465 million. However, MGM managers could help. Michael DeLuca, MGM's movie chairman, has a track record that includes, at various companies, the Rush Hour, Austin Powers, and 50 Shades of Grey franchises. When it comes to making its own hit films, Amazon has long struggled. In one debacle from 2015, Amazon spent lavishly to bring Woody Allen into its fold and later terminated the contract, prompting lawsuits. MGM also has a 17,000-episode television library and a TV studio that makes Vikings, The Handmaid's Tale, Fargo, and various Real Housewives shows. In 2014, MGM acquired Mark Burnett's production company, One3 Media, which holds rights to competition series like The Voice. Mr. Burnett, a contentious figure in Hollywood because he helped shape Donald J. Trump's image with The Apprentice and remained close to him during his divisive presidential term, serves as MGM's television chairman. MGM, which bought out Mr. Burnett's company in 2015, owns the entirety of The Apprentice, both the aired shows and unaired footage, which some have claimed contains unflattering footage of Mr. Trump. Anchorage Capital, a New York investment firm, has been the majority owner of MGM for more than a decade. Before that, MGM was tossed between owners. Bitten by falling DVD revenue, the studio eventually filed for bankruptcy to eliminate about $4 billion in debt. It was worth about $2 billion in 2010, according to analysts. Kevin Ulrich, Anchorage's chief executive and MGM's chairman, formally put the studio on the block late last year. Anchorage has been under pressure from various stakeholders to exit the investment, with some agitators complaining that Mr. Ulrich was overly enamored with Hollywood and should have sold out years ago. The end of MGM as a standalone company adds to a vast reshaping of the media business as the big seek to compete by getting even bigger. Last week, AT&T announced a deal to spin off its Warner Media Group and combine it with Discovery Incorporated, a move meant to strengthen Warner Media's struggling HBO Max streaming service and a nascent streaming platform owned by Discovery. In a counterattack against the tech companies that have aggressively moved into Hollywood over the last decade, Disney paid $71.3 billion for the bulk of Rupert Murdoch's entertainment assets in 2019. Such mega deals have left smaller studios like MGM, Lionsgate, and STX Entertainment looking for lifelines. STX, known for comedies like Hustlers and Bad Moms, merged with the Bollywood studio Eros International last summer. Some of the first conversations between Amazon and MGM began in March of 2020, when Mike Hopkins, Amazon's newly installed head of video, had a series of talks with Mr. Ulrich. But Amazon did not formally begin acquisition talks, largely negotiated remotely, as so many deals have been during the pandemic, until about 2 months ago. What do you think? Will Amazon be dominating in the movie industry? How do you think they'll shape the future of Hollywood? Let us know in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content. This has been our breakdown of how Amazon is going to dominate the movie industry. I hope you enjoyed it.